So, question number 1, please.
Okay. How old were you when you got your first cell phone? How was it and how did you feel about it? I bought my first cell phone when I was 20 or 21 years old. But I remember my grandmother bought her cell phone when I was 70 years old. It's a Motorola Amigo. Oh, it's an old cell phone. And I remember this. And when I bought my first cell phone, it was good for me because I I would to pay it, and it was a polyphonic. Uh, the sound it's a polyphonic, and the first feature is to create a song if you put some characters in the cell phone, or you copy your other ringtones in the other cell phone for mine. It's the best feature with my cell phone because I didn't bought this. I didn't buy these ringtones, but I copy for everyone in my coworkers, and I had three, four, or five ringtones different in my cell phone because I bought some characters. Oh, it's probably 32 characters in different, and I see in the one cell phone and I copy in the other. It's just manually, but it's a good.
Wow, remember when we had to buy songs so long ago, and you're saying right now that you had to buy ringtones. I've never seen this, really.
Yes, the operation like Claro, for example, you can buy some ringtones in different, for example, the soundtrack of the movies. And you can buy this. And I remember I copied some these ringtones in the other my coworkers. I think it was 3 reals, okay, but it's so expensive
at
for me
time,
at 20
back
years
then,
ago.
yeah.
So expensive.
Today, 50 reais is worth nothing, but 3 reais sometimes ago
Yes,
was
it's
very,
too
very
expensive.
expensive. Yeah. I remember my friend, it's not too long ago, maybe 5 years ago, he downloaded the MSN ringtone.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah. And he set the ringtone to receive messages, and I got, oh, this is awesome, please send it to me. And he sent to me, and I used this ringtone for so many months, to be real. I didn't use for a whole year because my phone's always on silent, always, always, always. It annoys me to put the ringtone ringing all day because of WhatsApp groups and Instagram notifications and all the kind of stuff. I get too distracted for anything I'm doing, even if I'm not working. When I'm doing something, I don't know, maybe I'm having dinner, watching TV. If it's popping too much notifications, I get very distracted, and I don't like.
But if you think the old cell phones, the
Yeah,
only feature it's a snake game, and
it was awesome.
some messages and
Yeah,
the ringtones.
I remember that there was this game. It wasn't the snake, but it was a bike game on Nokia as well. I don't know if you remember. It was very, very interesting. It was the Nokia Tijolão. And yeah, I loved it. It was awesome. I always took my parents' cell phone to play, and it was awesome because the battery lasted for weeks. It's not like these days that it could barely last a day. My phone's battery It's miserable. I couldn't handle it a whole day if I stay too much up on the phone. It's sad. So number 2, did you have access to the internet at home when you were in high school?
Yes, but it's a dial-up internet, and I wait the midnight in the weekend to connect the internet for download some MP3s or access some static websites because it's totally different. And if the website there is a Flash plugin or how other things around the Flash animation, or you waiting 3 minutes to download the page because the animates it's so waiting or to download. But the static sites, it was good. For example, Iggy, it's a old portal. Yeah, and this it's a good site to access. But the Friday night, midnight, I waited to connect to the internet, so download some MP3s.
I remember that when Portal Iggy was very famous, I was still very young and I liked to access Portal Iguinho, that it was like Clique Jogos, a page with a lot of children games. I stayed all night playing. It was awesome. It was a little dog, the pet, a white dog. It was very cute. But then I didn't see when it crashed because today we don't even remember it existed. Is it still out there, Iggy?
I don't know because I don't use it anymore.
Like Terra, for example.
Oh,
where did they go?
Probably there is existing.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But did you use the internet to make your homeworks, for example, some works from school? Or did you go to the library to take the books and look for it?
No.
Okay, guys, let's go to the library on Friday, 2:00. We have to do this essay.
No, I started to use the internet when I was a technician course. Okay, I finished my
after high school.
And after high school, and it's a technician course. It's a IT course. Okay, and sometimes I use the internet in the lab of the school, and the other times I use in my house. And I remember when my mother bought my computer, she said me I knew earning money with this computer. Okay, and I create a little page and I printed this, and I put in the school when I was working, and I do your homework. And I use the internet. Okay, and I use the internet at the night to do the homework for people working the day and studying at night. And I remember I did it 3 or 4 homeworks for one woman, and I found a lot about the genome. I don't know the names in English, but I create a work for her about the genome when I found all the things on the internet about the genome. And sometimes I use the library, the public library in the city when I was living, to get some pictures, because it's less expensive to get the pictures in the book when to print in the internet. And I created for her homework about the genome.
Oh my God, you're a genius. You're a genius.
But my mother said to me, you need to earn money with this computer. Okay, I'm
You
here
sure
now.
did. You sure did. I guess she wasn't talking about that, but it was a very interesting idea. So did you take any kind of work and essay to do? I thought you just took IT, for example,
Yeah,
essays and homeworks, but it's like biology, right?
yes, but I remember the biology and I remember the other homeworks I did for her. But in this time, I worked as a hardware. How can I say support hardware support? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I have self. How can I say prateleira self book? But it's not two books. Okay,
I guess shelf. Let
shelf.
me,
Okay,
yeah,
I
shelf.
had a shelf with a lot of parts of the old computers, and I used to fix the other computers.
Smart. I used to sell some homeworks as well, but it was back when I was in school. I used to sell math and English homework and sometimes physics. Yeah, it's shelf. It's right. Let me type here.
Shelf.
But I wish I could buy homeworks these days at college because, oh my God, they got so difficult.
Yes.
Sometimes I needed to buy some, I never did, but I wish I could buy some calculus homework, calculus
Oh.
3. I got, oh my God, please help. That's
Okay.
awful.
It's for me. It's good when to do exercises. You understand. But if you didn't do the exercise, in my opinion, you don't learn the calculus and the other maths in general.
Yeah, that's true. You have to practice a lot and do hundreds and hundreds of exercises.
Yes.
It's tiring, but it's what you should do. Ah, so do you believe students, maybe in college or school, doesn't matter, who don't have access to the internet at home have the same opportunity to follow have the opportunity to follow the same learning path as those who do?
Nowadays, I agree with this because I don't know if the schools there is a library and the students use the library today. Because if I talked with my nephews, for example, he finds all the things in the internet. And if he asks my sister about anything and she doesn't have idea, she in the same time puts on the Google and finds the answer. And
Yeah.
I think nowadays it's important, but I know there depends on the schools. If you think about the poor schools, I
Yeah.
think they don't have a computer in there. Probably the internet, no.
Some schools, I can say at least in public schools of the state back in Goiás. As I said to you, I work na Secretaria de Educação do Estado, and there's a project there where they distribute Chromebooks to the students to the last grade on ensino fundamental, which is 9th or 8th grade, and the last year of high school. And they are installing Wi-Fi and the internet in a lot of schools. So kids and teenagers who don't have access to the internet home and even a computer, for example, they are having the opportunity now to have this kind of access. But this is just a small percentage of all schools in the country, for example. I believe that for sure it's much, much, much easier when you have the resources right in front of you. You have a computer, you have a good connection, you have a cell phone, you have a good house where you can study, for example, you're able to study. It's very interesting. They have much more opportunities to, it's much easier for them to study than the others who don't, because people who don't have access to the internet, it's much harder for them to take books and go to library, even to the, how can I say, like they have to take the public transportation to go to the library. Maybe they don't have money to take the bus and this kind of stuff. So I believe it's much easier for them. But like you said, these days it's getting easier than it was a long time ago. But it's still the difference and the gap, it's still very important to see this happening in our lives, because it's not fair that we say that everybody has the same opportunities. You just okay, go study, go work, and you have your own company in a few years. It's not like that.
No, it's not like that. If you think nowadays, a lot of people change your careers, for example, and mix your the mix of the other careers to the technology, because the technology is involving in the many others careers. A lot of people in the past don't have a contact with the internet and or don't learn about the technology when he was a teenager, when he was a kid. And there is a lot of opportunities, but they don't have the schools and the education not run the same time of the technology.
And even about, sorry.
Okay. And if you think about the kids start their lives with the technology, it's totally different. I have a nephew, and he is 9 years old. And sometimes he talk with me about other things I don't have idea, because he connects the internet and he like the geographic, for example, and he talks to me about things that I remember I studied about this in the high school, not in the fundamental school.
Like the rotation of the Earth when it's getting closer to the...
Okay.
Who taught you this?
Yes.
And I was just going to add, for example, the way we use internet, it's very different. And if you take a kid that's 9 years old, for example, he already has access to the internet, and today he searches for geography stuff and this kind of things. But a kid who is 9 years, you put a computer and you put internet in front of him for the first time, the accesses will be very different, what he will search, what he will look. So we have to pass this time of maturation about the searches you make, not only give access, because our mind, the internet is full of everything. So we have to filter the kind of stuff and learn what we like, what we don't like, what we want to see, what we don't. So it's very, very dizzy.
Yes, it's the bad part of the internet, because it's a lot of information, but you don't have a filter how to find the correct information. And if people don't have the discernment about this, you agree in the all, but it's a bad part.
I guess we talked about this last week. For example, like ChatGPT, about the wrong information it gives to you, because it takes real stuff, real information, real articles, and create new things and mix them up, and it seems like it's right, it seems like it's true, but it isn't. It just seems like it because of the way it's written, but it creates information. There's a lot of information there that the AI gives to you that it's not true. So we have to be very, very, very careful. Have you seen about that?
No. I see the other information, for example, more sexism or racism about the chat GPT and answer some questions, okay?
Yeah.
But this kind of to create fake news, I haven't
search for it later. Really, search for it. Last week, Marie, she sent a very interesting link in Twitter on the survey. I'm gonna send you here so you can read later. It's very interesting about the conversation in AI. So you can see it later. We're on question number 4, please.
Okay. I know about this. I think I remember I answered your survey for me with this link. The last class.
It was you who sent this?
Yes.
Oh my God, I don't know. I'm sorry it was her. Let me read. Oh, I thought it was her because it's written, let me see, the tech area. And I thought, oh, she's not from tech area, maybe. So, so very interesting. As you can see, I read it and I liked it a lot and I'm passing the information.
No problem. Because
I didn't know it was you. It's anonymous. Yeah, so you see it's anonymous.
I received this with my ex-coworker, and I read a lot about this, and oh my God, it's a bias. The ChatGPT a bias, and she talked with me about this. And, oh, it's incredible, but
yeah,
it's true. It's true.
Yeah, awesome. Good to know it's you. Interesting. Question number 4, please.
Okay. What are some ways in which lack of access to technology can prevent individuals from lower social classes from pursuing higher education or job opportunities? How can I say? 1 minute. I don't have an idea. Can you explain this question for me? Because I think I don't understand anymore.
Oh, sorry. Okay, let me read it again. What are some ways in which lack of access to technology can prevent individuals from lower class, social classes from pursuing their higher education or job opportunities? For example, I am from a very low social class and I don't have access to the internet. How the lack of access to technology and internet can interfere in my opportunity to get a good job or to get a higher study, to go to college, for example, to get a post-graduation, something like that.
Okay.
How it's difficult.
In my opinion, I think depends on your professional you doing or future. You don't have access to technology. It's create a gap, a lack about this. For example, if I think the new opportunities now, when I use the technology, for example, the digital company, okay, in many ways, digital banks or the iFood, it's the other digital products. If you get some people who works in the other areas, in the other careers, And if they don't have the access the internet, don't use the technology in the past, probably these people don't have the same opportunities with the other people's have had this access when I was a teenager. Because this company contract people in the other careers. For example, how people study lawyer, I think, and the maths and the static. I think the people you can work with datas now. And if people don't understand a minimum about the technology, I think this opportunity specifically it's closed for their people, okay? But it's specifically to work in a tech companies. But you think about for example, the university. The university there, you follow the academic work, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I know there is a lot of researches and the opportunities inside in the university, and don't use the technology because it's not common for this. I worked a few weeks ago, a woman, and it's a professor, and he study, I forgot the name in English, and she, it's the same problem I have, the listen, okay? And she a professor about otorrino. Okay, I don't know the names in English. Okay, okay, okay. She has a otorrino. Okay, and she talked her about this, and she said me in the past, it's only manual process. Okay, when you use the tools in your eyes about you listen good, and now you put the specific tools in the computer, and the computer listen all many hours people use the tools, and if they listen better in the left or the right ears, because I don't have idea, but she talks the technology. It's so good now when people there is a disease is about the hearing, okay? And the new tools, the new equipment, it's more technology compared to the past. And if you think about this, these researches and the university study a lot about this, and if they don't have contact with the technology, probably or in the future the many support with the other peoples, it's a step by step, okay? It's not run compared to the big techs now.
Wow, that's a great example. I just sent you the word. I don't know how to read it, but that's the word.
Okay. I don't know.
Look at it.
Okay, I look at. I don't have idea how to
Otolaryngologist. Otolaryngologist. Maybe it's something like that. Never heard of this in English. Never had to use. Thankfully, I never had to use this because, my God. But wow, that's very interesting.
Yes, for example, I know because I have this problem in my life, and this started a long time ago. And I remember 10 years ago, probably, I found this.
Do you use the device?
No, I don't use the device. My buzz it's lower, but it depends on the noise in the environment. I don't listen the people as well, okay? And the sound it's bad, like a bad connection, okay? But I remember 10 years ago, I found on the internet some specific software when you try to listen 30 minutes every day to improve your ears, but it's in the specific parts inside of the ear, okay? And there is a experiment, to people started with the bus, but it's 10 times ago. And I think now it's improved their equipment about this.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, you don't have idea the technologies involved in all other fields, okay? But
yeah,
if you
exactly.
but if you talk with the other people's works in the other careers, you understand a lot when the technology is involved. This, if when I talk to my dentist, for example, it's amazing woman. It's too smart, and she likes the technology involved in this area. And she talked to me a lot about this.
Wow, you're surrounded with very interesting people. That's awesome. You made me remember a very interesting movie I once saw about a drummer. I don't remember the name. I'll search for it to say to you. About a drummer he's a drummer and he was getting deaf. I don't remember what happened to him, but he was very in love with what he did, and he was getting deaf, and it was very difficult because he didn't get that right away. It was a process. So he loses his audition and he starts hearing very, very low. And then he tries to teach children how to play the drums because he wants to feel it. And he tries and he goes through a lot of procedures to stop getting deaf. And then he, at the end of the movie, I'm just saying the end. At the end of the movie, he gives up, and he just takes the tools in his head and his ear, and he accepts that, okay, this is my life now. And it's very interesting because life happens in such a different way. The perspective you get and what you see, what you pay attention, because there's no noise, there's just you and your mind, which is can be very noisy, and it's very interesting. And about the question, I didn't, I wasn't thinking so far, but what came into my mind is something like that when you're getting, for example, teenagers or maybe adults, they're getting their first jobs to enter the market. It's very common, like secretary or anything like that, to have, it's mandatory to have office package, for example, intermediate, you have to know how to use Word, you have to know how to use Excel and something like that. And some people don't have that kind of knowledge because they don't have access, and some people do. So who these people who does this kind of access, they can go ahead and take the job instead of the others who didn't have the access. So it's one tiny thing, but it makes the difference, because when you're searching for a job, there are minimal minimal things you have to know, to not too specific. You don't have a graduation, you don't have anything like that. So this kind of thing, they wait too much. You can choose a question from 5 to 10.
Okay, 5. How does limited access to technology impact the ability of individuals from different social class? to acquire new skills. I think in the future, okay, when these people start to choose your job, to their jobs, for example, I think if people don't have, how can I say, access the technology, but not just use it, the technology, how they use the cell phone, use the computer. I think it's the more deep with how to use and the how to use the technology for create other things. Because in my opinion, I think in the future, new jobs, you have a change, will change the how to use the technology compared now. For example, if you think the administration, the administration companies, okay, people use the technology just a user, okay, and for example, a lawyer use the digital process, the secretary use many other tools to appointments. But in the future, you need more deep about how to create many things when you use the technology. Because in my opinion, probably these kinds of jobs will automated. In the probably you need more people to think outside the box and how to create many automation things. Probably my nephew, I don't have idea what will they do working one day, because in his life he will create a new video games, okay, new games, but I don't have idea in the future. And when you create more skills and how to understand the technology and how to use the technology, automate process, make life easier, it's a new skills you need in the future.
Yeah. When you said about your nephew, that's very hard to imagine what he will work with someday, because even for us, for example, 10 years ago, when I was in high school, when I was in school, etc., there it didn't exist a lot of professions that we have these days. A lot of things that we have and that we can make a lot of money by working with some stuff. It didn't happen. It didn't exist. We didn't even think about it. And for example, you were saying about basically that the technology, the machines, AI, for example, I guess they will take place to less, how can I say, to the activities that we don't have to think a lot to make. We don't have to have some critical thinking. We don't have to develop innovating idea, this kind of stuff. It's easier to get the machines to do. And when the time goes by, in the market, it demands even more qualified worker. We have to be more qualified to enter in the market, because this kind of professions that some kinds, not all of them obviously, but some kinds of profession, it's like, I don't know, I am forgetting all the words, the revolution, the Industrial Revolution, for example. They were afraid of the machines getting the jobs and this kind of stuff and etc. It actually happened in some parts. For example, when you go to industry where they build cars, for example, The machines got it all the way. They are building cars with only machines, for example, at some points. But the man labor specialized in some kind of stuff, it's required, but we have to be day by day developing ourselves and learning new skills and improving ourselves to be in the market, to get jobs, to be competitive and this kind of stuff.
Yes, and I think, for example, in the future there is more tools and to make life easier and or to make automate many process. But if all other peoples don't have to create more, but understand how to use this and how to apply this in different ways of in different kinds of the jobs, for example. And if people don't understand it, how to use and how to propose this, it's you don't have the skills for the future, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. We have to think about the problem, the situation, the work in a deeper way. You have to be even more involved to use the technology to see the stuff we have to do.
Yes, and I think now, for example, I'm thinking probably there is people there is more strategic to understand and create and combine this, but there are other people's more how can I say manual, and they people use this and they people understand how to use it, but don't have the strategic mind, for example. If you think it's a similar when you talk the CTO of the companies and when you talk the developers, okay? Developers create software and CTO, there is more strategic things, okay?
But that's a great example.
If you think the future, you have a lot of tools and you don't create the tools, but you understand how to use it. One people combine this and create more strategic, more I don't know, marketplaces and the other things, and you use to create new.
I guess that's the main point. It's the principle, the most important. We are having and we will have in the future even more tools to help us in studies, in our daily lives, at work, in everywhere. But we have to know how to use, because if we don't know how to use the tools that technology is providing us, it will be for nothing. For example, Uber and 99 and this kind of mobility apps, they are tools. If you know how to use, it's awesome. But you take someone who's very old, who doesn't even know how to use a phone, right? For example, it doesn't matter. It's not useful. It serves for nothing, because it was last month. I was arriving in my building, and there was a neighbor of mine. He was about 80 years old, and he was outside waiting for the cab. And he asked me, "Oh, please, can you call a cab for me?" And I was without my phone, because I would call him an Uber. And he said, "Nobody wants to take my run because it was Christmas. And there were no cab drivers. They wouldn't take his run, but there were a lot of Uber drivers. But he didn't know how to use, and I didn't have my phone." And that's an example. We have a tool, but when we don't have the ability to use, when you don't know how to use, it's nothing. It doesn't make the purpose of creating the tool is to be used. But when we don't know how to use it, it's just waste of time and waste of technology and resources and everything.
I think one day, for example, the financial system, it's only digital, okay? But now it's hybrid, okay? Because there is people don't use the... but I know a lot of people don't agree with the digital money, for example, preferring the cash and prefer works with the cash, okay? Okay, but it's our older people but one day these older people don't exist more. And if you okay, it's part of our life, okay? But uh, okay, sorry, but one day the financial system don't have more cash, okay? It's a better way how to say this, okay? Don't use
Okay.
the cash, and the people just use the digital. And
Yeah.
this person don't like use the digital money. I don't know how people buy some stuff in the supermarket.
Yeah, but it's a process, right? Like I was saying 10 years ago, for example,
Yes.
when you said, okay, you take your phone and you get close to the machine and just go beep, okay, your purchase was approved. I
Okay,
use
it's a
it all
process.
day. I don't even use my physical card anymore. Just use it in my phone. I take it and beep, just it. And it's a process because I don't know, 5 years ago, I didn't even think about it. I use it to receive my wage in money.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think I have a 20 reals in my in my in
in
my
your purse.
table for probably for 1 year.
Oh
because
my God. Just
because
buy
I
some
use
bread, girl.
because I use the credit card or my cell phone to pay, and one day I received the 20 reals, and there is in my table.
Relíquias. Let it
Yes.
go. Just put it on a board and take it on the wall.
Yes, but I remember there is a good book. It talks about the process, the technology. Okay, it's
Mhm.
the book. It's not about the technology. The book's about the neuroscientist and the music guy. Okay, I don't know if he played, and he talks about the process, how to creative people, and in parts, they talk about the process of the technology. For example, the new technologies, there is a step in the old technology. For example, the camera, there is a sound about the obturador of the old cameras, and the icons, it's how to use the cell phone, the agenda, because people think in the real life, and its association with the digital, and the
Yeah.
digital doesn't broke this because it's a new, for example, the iPad, when they started the digital books, they use a shelf book, and they use the flight page because
Yeah.
you associate with this, and probably for 20 years this still continues.
Yeah, I hope so because it's awesome. Oh, we spared the time, 2 minutes.
Okay.
But awesome talk today. Thank you very much for being here as always. I really enjoy our
Okay.
conversations.
Okay. Bye bye.
Um, wanna give oh, please rate the survey. I have
Yes.
to send you because it's important for us. Just a sec. So you just you can save the survey link and think about suggestions for us.
Okay.
And you send me later. I just sent you the name of the movie, O Som do Silêncio. If you
Okay.
want to watch later, I really enjoyed it. It's very, very interesting.
I
So
watched.
have a great, great, great end of the night, end of the week, and bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
See you.